I'm excited to introduce you to Diana. And I'm going to allow Diana share a little bit more rounded of what she does, because as you know, I just like to bring you all these wonderful people. So welcome, Diana. It's lovely to have you.
Hi, Mia. It's so lovely to be here. I've been really excited for this.
Yes, me too. Would you like to share with us about you and your business and a little bit more, and then we're going to get into the conversation, but a little bit more about the balance between your vision, as you know it, and as I know it, between the magnificence of self-love and how it creates solid foundations in a relationship.
Yes, absolutely. So I've actually been doing this really since 9 years old. Let's say my sister's
Mhm.
friends would come home after school. They're about 7 years older than me, and they would sit around me and ask about relationship advice. And I kind of just was always that go-to person. And not to say I didn't make my own mistakes along the way, because I certainly did. But it's something that's always come a little bit more naturally to me. And a few years ago, I started writing a lot online, and I was really focused on conscious decision making, living from a conscious place, and really focused on relationships and how people relate to each other, how you relate to yourself. And people started asking me for one-on-one sessions, and it really developed very organically.
Mm,
And so I'm a love coach with a conscious approach. That's how I
I
like
love
to
that.
call myself.
Mhm.
And I really work with people in all stages, whether they're dating or in relationships. And my mission is to make dating a lot more fun,
Mhm.
a lot less stressful, and just a lot easier, because it's coming from a place of confidence and feeling grounded and loving in yourself. And so yes, I'm an advocate for mindfulness and self-love, and they're infused into every part of what I do, whether it's workshops, webinars, one-on-one, the writing, whatever it is, because self-love really it's the foundation. It really sets your standards. It shows people how you expect to be loved and treated. It inspires more love. And when your cup or your plate, however you want to say it, is full, you're not hungry for what someone might offer you if they come with crumbs, coming to you, offer you some crumbs. You're quite full. And so for you to make space in your life is because someone's bringing something beautiful that adds to what you already have, but you're not thirsty for it.
Mhm.
And so that's really what I like to work with, all my clients with, but also we go into a lot of vision making and so on. But the idea is really like this is how I love myself, and then your relationship will reflect that love. And that's the whole thing, is your relationship as a mirror of the self-love you have. That's why
I,
to me it's the foundation.
I can't stop smiling because I'm like, this is like a sister in another skin sitting next to me talking the
Right.
same stuff. I mean, literally, we're talking, and this is what's so important. And for the first time in my life, I say these words, I feel them, I know them. I'm gonna get emotional here. I have not heard somebody with such excitement, and it nailed it right home for me. I already knew it, but I've never heard anybody say it. How you said self-love is, but it's the way you said it, about self-love being the foundation in and not just interpersonal, but the relationships. There is something magical about you that I
No,
just think
thank you.
it's
Right
really
back at you.
beautiful. It just touched me with a big energy swoosh, it's
Amazing.
wonderful. Yes. Now, I'm just going to throw out there that your free gift is about this visioning stuff. So we're going to be talking about it. And if you want
Yeah.
to refer back to it, I'm also going to, everybody's, because who's listening are going to be excited to hear this. Of course, she's giving us a free gift, but we're going to talk about that at the end. But you can also feel free to refer to it in your conversation now,
Sure.
because it sounds very powerful. It sounds very very in alignment to what I love and do. That's why I had to preface it now instead of bringing it up just at the end, because you're more powerful than I even realized. So
Oh, well, thank you. Wow. Okay,
it's
well, I would
beautiful.
love to talk about creating a relationship vision. To me is such an important, huge piece to creating the kind of love you want. And this
Mhm.
really goes for if you're single or in a relationship. It doesn't change. And the idea is really that it creates a blueprint that pulls you towards what you want, and it makes you be more intentional, right? So it also begs you to ask some really important questions like, am I a match to this vision of what I want? And that's what I really love. It's twofold. It guides you, and it makes you kind of assess yourself in obviously a gentle and loving way. And so the 5 steps, which everyone will get in that free download, and it's really an exercise that helps you create a vision, and it really gives you the steps in detail. But just to go over them briefly, the first one is very general, is starting with the kind of values that you want to experience in your relationship. So sometimes that's all we can do for the moment. We don't know where, how, if, when. We just know the kind of relationship we want to have. It's almost like if you were taking a trip. Do you want to have a trip that's very relaxing, or super adventure filled, or a little bit of both?
Or sexy.
Right? Yeah, or sexy, totally.
Yeah.
Then you actually want to get, if you can, and as it gets more comfortable, get more specific with the details. So where are you and what are you doing with this person? And the reason for that is it will help you in that last step when you really want to visualize. Then the third step is, how does it feel to be in this relationship? And to me, that's the most powerful step, because feelings really create momentum. And if you can learn how to create that feeling in the now, it will attract you towards everything that sort of matches with that. So the law of attraction is definitely at play here, okay?
Well, you're also manifesting. So
you're manifesting.
I want to talk about it, because what you're doing is an offshoot of my manifesting with mates.
Yeah.
But it's your version, and so I see it so clearly. This is exciting. Go, 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 go. I'm excited.
So the 4th step is, okay, so now you know what kind of trip you want to take, and you know how you want to feel and what you're going to be doing. Well, what kind of qualities does this person need to have to really live this vision with you? And I want to put it out there. Don't be afraid to do this part of the exercise if you're already with someone, if you're already in a marriage. The point isn't to discover that the person you're with isn't the match.
Right.
You'll see how it all kind of comes together, right? And then the 5th step is really the visualization. So now that you have all those pieces, how can you see it in your mind's eye? And it takes practice. And sometimes it's uncomfortable to visualize, but we all know how to imagine. Because if I say a color, or I reference something, you will, if you've seen it before, be able to picture it, right? So if you've never seen something before, it can take time to get there, but you can pull on pieces that are familiar to you. So the exercise they'll get will actually really give them more detail on to create this vision.
Good. And we just had a glitch there. Probably an internet glitch. So the last sentence you were saying is that it really works for creating the vision.
Yeah, it will really help guide in creating a very solid vision.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love this, because manifestation is deeper than the law of attraction, and they all do work. We know that thoughts become things, and things become actions, and it creates our life from there. But nobody else has taught my program, and you're teaching it almost, but differently. Right. So that is so cool. What I love and that I'm hearing is you're teaching people in this free gift and in your work is how to tunnel in on or focus in on what they want, how to also be that so that they're attracting it and they're finding their mates. And the cool thing that you said was, you can do this even if you're married, because what you're doing is you're up-leveling who you are. You always want to be growing, don't we? Right? Yes. And not you as in Diana specifically. I mean, all of us.
Well. Yes, all of us, yeah.
We all want to grow. So I love that concept that it's okay if you already have a mate to do this, because it simply goes back to your foundation and my foundation of self-love. Exactly. And creating us into a more magnificent being. And that's beautiful, because in that space of creation literally comes the connection with not just our lover, and that mate, but with our other mates and soulmates that we are with, our sister friends, our,
Mhm.
even our children, everything comes together beautifully. So I've never seen a uh, package, more or less, that you present it so smoothly to integrate the spiritual into the mainstream. So kudos to you, literally.
Thank
That
you.
that is
Thank you.
that is brilliant. It's really beautiful. I'm very touched by that. So relationship visions are, let's talk about this, because when we're
Yeah.
little, we have these relationship visions, right? We are going to be Snow White, and our Prince Charming's going to kiss us, and then we're going to live happily ever after in the castle.
Right.
And we can go anywhere we want because we have all the little animals in the world to take us there. So will you share with us the difference between breaking that old false story that we created through media, things we learned, our belief system, to what we can actually produce in an empowered state today that is just as beautiful or more beautiful than, say, the
Yes.
Snow White version?
Yes, I love that question. And it is quite different to be intentional and to really tap into what specifically matters to you. So when I work with clients, at first, oftentimes the words they use are very much buzzwords, right? So they're things that you think you're supposed to say, like, I want a relationship that's honest and I want him to be loyal and so on and so on, right? But the idea is really like, how can you tap into what is truly important to you? So there's a few things I can say here. I
I
love
love this.
I love journaling. I think it is such a powerful way to let your intuition speak through you. So what I always suggest is asking yourself very specific questions, not yes or no, but really like, what values are important to me? And usually the first the first voice you're going to hear is going to likely be your ego. Okay. And it takes a while to really decipher between the two. But if you can just hold on for a moment and let that voice come from a deeper place and actually identify where you feel it and just let it run through you. Like, what does it say? Let it all come out on paper. You'll start to see some patterns and some themes if you continue doing that more regularly. Why I like starting more generally with values is because I find that that's a place where you can really hone in on what matters to you. Because what is a value? It's something that really, really matters to you. That's all that it is, right? So an exercise I like to do with clients is to have them reflect back on a moment where ideally they were in a relationship or some kind of romantic scenario, and they felt just totally at peace and aligned. And I have them really describe to me, like, where are they? What are they doing? Are they laughing? How does it feel? What does it smell like? Like, really, what's going on? And from there, you can really start to pull out some values. And we keep doing that. We keep going through memory after memory, and we see what's sort of the pattern. What is it that really makes you feel aligned? Okay, now let's start there. Those are your values. And then I really challenge them to choose words that resonate with them. Like, okay, so it might sound great to say, I want spontaneity in my relationship, but maybe let's make it something more exciting for you, like wind in my face, or wind in my hair, like something that really just moves you. And so that's how we start to create a more empowered vision, right? And I would say the biggest piece of it all is only do this work when you're feeling great, because if the vision you make when you're feeling down versus the vision you make when you're feeling enthusiastic and hopeful will look really different. And we're not trying to create a simply opposite of what you don't want. We're really like, what is your grandest vision? And just go for it. What is it?
Love it. I love it. It's funny because I keep getting these sparks that I want to say something, and what I want to say is it's not off colored at all, but I was waiting for the right moment so I didn't seem too carnal or too human, because I don't know if you know this, Diana, but I've been in metaphysics my entire life. I was born into it, literally. In fact, I was born 6 months early, so it prayer and all this really saved my life, because I didn't have a stomach formed, and all the things that a 6-month baby should not be going home the same day. I went home the same day. My identical twin sister died. The point of this is I understand the spiritual, but I love how you keep combining them both so smoothly. I mean, I'm a fan, and I'm literally a fan, and it's beautiful because when I brought in this husband, that sounds funny. How many husbands have you had? When I brought in this husband, it was interesting because I do teach the manifesting and all this, and the qualities, and they exemplify them and be that. And so I actually put on there, because I understand the depths just like you do, and I want you to talk about this too, about the senses and sensory and stuff. But I understand the depths of the soul, so now I understand the depths of the human and the connection. So I love to touch and feel and, play and enjoy that aspect. So on my list, and this is what I wanted, this big preface into this, so you guys didn't think I was just some weirdo. So on my list, I realized how much I love to make love. And so that was one of my qualities on there, was I wanted a mate that would, and also touch me, touch my butt and touch me. And it was crazy because what I brought out there turned me around into being more open. And so it came inward, and so, most people are like, really, I can put down that I want to make love? Well, of course, that's
Right.
a quality, because you're
Yes.
giving and you're receiving. So.
Right.
So the thing I wanted to ask you, sorry, I jumped off on my slight embarrassment there, but the thing I wanted to, thanks. Can you share with people, because I always talk about how our senses allow us to express our soul and these human bodies and all that, but you do it in such a beautiful way. I want your version of how, in this human world, being a soulful being, because you talk about both of them, how the senses are so vital and important, because we are, at least in the United States, I believe in Canada too, where you live, I believe that that's also a puritanical foundation of
Right.
early, because we're both from England originally. So puritanical has caused our countries to be, or at least the US, to be very poo-poo, restricted on how we feel about our bodies, how we feel sexually, emotionally, which is a huge part of a relationship that keeps people together. Because if you can't have that connection, that deep-rooted connection, when things go awry, then people leave the nest, type of thing. So would you share with us about your enlightening view on sensories and how important relationship togetherness? Yes, it's about building a deep connection, but it's also about enjoying who you are with your partner.
Yes. Well, you said the word enjoying, which, from my view, everything is about creating joy. And whether it is to call someone in or to evolve the relationship you already have, joy is side by side with loving yourself, right? Because if you're truly in love with yourself, there's this sense of joy. And how do you experience joy? It's through the senses, right? Mm-hmm. So it might be smells that are intoxicating to you. Mm-hmm. And I really am an advocate for finding joy moment to moment. So what do I need right now to just feel so good? That doesn't mean that you don't do the work you need to do or go where you need to go, but how can I make this more enjoyable? Mm-hmm. Is it rolling down the window and letting the wind in my hair? Is it enjoying this cup of tea? Is it smelling something that I love? And so to translate that into a relationship, I think we all have different love languages and how we like to express love. But if we're talking about touch, it's being present, I think, is really just so important, and such an important piece to it, because if you're present, then the touch is more than just a touch, right? Mm-hmm. It's really like you're connecting, you're getting
soul
deeper.
Touch. Yeah.
It is, it's a soul touch. And so mm-hmm. that's how we can take it to a whole other level. If we're talking about, if that's what we're talking about here, is really like bringing that joy, being in the present moment, looking into the person's eyes, like actually connecting, being present. I don't believe we can connect if we're not connected, right? It's like we're not plugged in. How can we be turned on?
Yes. And we've all had those men that are disconnected. Sorry, I just had to say that. We've all had partners that are disconnected. Yeah.
Right. Or we've been disconnected at times ourselves and don't enjoy things the same way. Right. Mm-hmm. So I think to really get that full sensorial experience, it's like, are you plugged in? Are you connected? And how much do you enjoy things? How much do you allow yourself to just be and feel and touch and smell and see and hear and be in the present moment. And I don't mean to say that that's an easy thing. There are so many things in life calling us all the time. It's easy to get distracted. But if you want to connect with someone in a deep, deep way, you have to ask yourself, am I connected?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that answers the question. I'm not sure.
It does. It does, but I was so excited. Kept wanting to say, and this and that. I really adore this. This is beautiful. There's another piece that you wanted to share with us about relationships.
Relationships, all the same.
What was it?
There's a few things.
Okay, we are running out of time, so
sure.
Let's. I was looking off at the clock, so
yes.
Just jump in with another topic and
sure.
We'll go over there.
If I'm going to choose one, I'm going to go with appreciation because it is a big part of my message. I think appreciation is a conduit for more love. I think it is a language of love.
That's good.
Yeah, right. It allows you to say to your partner, to the universe, yes, I love that. More of that, please. Because what you feed will grow. So are you feeding what's going well in your life or what's lacking? And I think a lot of us tend to focus on what's missing, and our energy is more focused on the lack of things, the lack of love your partner showing, the lack of a partner in your life altogether. But if you can shift towards what is working, what you do want, what you're excited to see come to life, that is living in appreciation, just appreciating the small moments, the big moments, every little moment in between, and making that really your language. And how I like to picture it is like a spotlight. So you have this light, and wherever you shine it is what's going to come to life. And the rest is in the dark. So can you imagine what a shame to turn your light away from all the beauty and all that's going so well in your life and in your relationship and focus in on what isn't working. So that's, I find, such a strong visual. Like, where are you shining that light? Shine it on what is working. It is the way to breed more love and more things to appreciate. So if I'm to say how to create balance in a relationship, a flow of giving and receiving, appreciation.
Beautiful. And we are not going to only hear Diana here. I just had a flash in my vision as we were talking. I mean, of course, she's got her own thing going on, but I have some stuff cooking here because you're really amazing. And
Thank you. Right back at you.
And I just want to say that because I come across amazing, great people all the time, but there's specialness about you that is really, really beautiful. So wonderful. So let's share your free gift again, but only the way that, from the top to the bottom now.
Sure. So really what it is a step-by-step process to show you how to get what you want from a relationship. And what I mean by that really is creating a vision of your ideal, I can have anything I want relationship. And it's 5 steps in detail. So there's the values, what you're doing in this relationship, how it feels, the qualities of your ideal partner, and then how to bring that into your mind's eye, how to visualize that. But the steps really go into detail, and you'll see that if you follow them, you'll even surprise yourself with some of what comes out from there. And it's a really, really powerful tool in attracting and manifesting.
Beautiful. And the crazy thing is I'm actually going to download it because I want to I'd like to read it, but I'd simply like to stay in touch with Diana. And I've never said this in the 9 years I've been on radio and done these shows. I've never said, just sign up so that you stay connected to her. So sign up so you stay connected to her, because she's like our next elevation or state of where we're going in this world of relationships, or evolved relationships, getting to evolved relationships. So it's very important to state that. So
thank you so much.
You're welcome, honey. What would you like to leave us with? One last thought from your heart.
Sure. Remember that your relationships will always reflect what's happening inside of your heart. So if there's something you'd like to see that you aren't seeing, it's an opportunity for you to really look inside and say, what's going on here? If I want harmony and trust in my relationship, but I'm more focused on fear and anxiety, that's an opportunity to shift. So just always see your relationships as a beautiful opportunity, and to see what is the reflection of here. What is it reflecting back to you? Relationships are your greatest spiritual assignments.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for joining us. It was really wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
so
thank
much.
you all. Thank you all.
Thank you all for joining, yes, and taking the time to be with us.
Yeah. And we will see you in another episode of Natural Balance, where body, mind, and spirit connect. Bye.